The following is a paid advertisement. The views expressed are the sole responsibility of the advertiser.
I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up just ahead on You Have Real Estate. Who do you trust for your roofing needs, and how much of a down payment should you have? Also, where can you invest or buy a house for your family at a decent price? It's all just ahead. It's You Have Real Estate.
Your debt does not have to control your life. You have the power to potentially lower or even eliminate your debt. I'm attorney Justin Clark. Call me now for a free consultation or visit YouHavePower.com and take back control of your financial life.
You Have Real Estate is proudly sponsored by Renewal by Andersen, your full-service window and door replacement company. Learn more at rbafla.com.
Welcome to You Have Real Estate, brought to you by Renewal by Andersen. I am your host, Justin Clark. A great show ahead for you today, but first, the opening statement. I hear this oftentimes, it's, Justin, I need to get a new roof, but I don't know who to trust to do my roof, and they want this big down payment. What do I do in that situation? I think I finally have a solution for you. Also, we're big advocates of your constitutional officers, but what does that mean? What does your constitutional officer do for you? All wonderful questions and questions that we will answer together by asking real questions. Every weekend here on the program, we ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. Kick it off today for the first time ever, the Supervisor of Elections. And throughout the state is here. Seminole County, Amy Pennock. Amy, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
We've had Grant Malloy here 100 times, J.R. Kroll, good friend, David Johnson, Sheriff Lima, all of them, so many times here. Never had the Supervisor of Elections. Very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
What does that mean, though? What does the Supervisor of Elections really do?
We are responsible for administrating all the elections that happen in Seminole County, whether it's federal, state. We manage and help the municipalities deal with their local races. But our goal is to make sure our voter rolls are clean, that we don't have people that can't vote on our voter rolls, and that we register people who want to vote on our voter rolls and get them out to the polls and vote every election.
I fear that there are some people out there, maybe even younger people like Brianna over there, who they don't necessarily know how to vote. I'm telling you, I think that there are people who don't know how to vote. They don't know if they're registered. They don't know where to vote. What do I do in that situation if I'm just confused?
Absolutely. Go to our website. There's a lot of information there that you can look at, voteseminole.gov. There's different ways you can register. You can register in person. We'd absolutely love you to come in person because you're required to provide less identification. You still have to provide identification because we need to validate who you are. But when you do it online or when you do a paper application, you have to provide a little bit more identification so that we can do fact check that you're a real person and not just a bot.
Yeah, I guess voting has become a political issue. Like, can you mail in, blah, blah, blah. This is not a political show at all. But how can people vote now?
Three ways. You can vote by mail, you can early vote, and you can vote day of. Vote by mail over the past several years has had some changes. Legislatively, every 2 years after the general election, your vote by mail dies, or your request dies, so you have to re-request your vote by mail. If you want to vote by mail because maybe you're a college student, you're attending FSU, but you still want to vote on your local school board, you can vote by mail.
I'm kind of old school. I don't know why I like to go to the voting machine myself.
Me too.
Who likes to vote in person? I'm really curious to see.
I do.
Yeah. Let's be honest, the older people in the room like to go there.
Yeah.
I think the younger people probably don't. But how do I know where to? Can I vote anywhere in Seminole County, or are there certain places that I have to go?
You can vote anywhere during early election that we have a polling location. Usually we have seven locations plus our office. So you're not restricted to your precinct. However, on voting day, on election day, you have to go to your precinct. So you can pull out your voter registration card. It will tell you where your precinct is. Or you can go to our website. You can click on the link, input your information, and it will tell you exactly where to go.
You're doing a great job. A new job for you. Been in office for, what, a month and a half, something like that. Always a transition. How are you feeling about things?
I feel really good. Love going into the office every day. I have a really great team that is knowledgeable, has a lot of great history in elections, follows the law. I mean, that's our goal, really, is to follow the law.
Yeah.
Make sure everything is clean, make sure everything is on the up and up, and we have a really good team that that is knowledgeable, that keeps us on track and keeps us in line and will keep us out of green jumpsuits or orange jumpsuits.
And a Kimberly keeping us in line as well.
Yes.
She does a great job for
Man,
you.
that girl's keeping me busy.
All right, Supervisor of Elections, great. You're doing a great job, obviously. But who's Amy? I've seen your name so many times. You've been around. What led you up to this point?
So I have been had the honor of serving on the school board over the last 6 years. Big for me is having representation on any board of the population that you serve. We didn't have an active parent on the school board, and so I felt that that's where I was needed. I have school in the school system, and I had very vested interest on the policy decisions, the budget decisions, curriculum decisions. And so I ran for school board, sat on the school board for 6 years, and then I just watched elections and a lot of the disinformation that's out there. I'm a forensic accountant by trade. I have a master's in forensic accounting, and so numbers is my study.
Wow.
Fraud is my study, and so when we had some challenges in the office, I watched and thought, you know what, that's where my skills are needed, and so I decided to run for Supervisor of Elections.
Yeah, it's been an honor interviewing so many elected officials on this show, and the story oftentimes is not that they were career politicians. It was people who never even thought about running for any sort of office. Maybe there's someone out there right now who is thinking, I want to make a difference. I want to make a change by running for office. How do you actually flip that switch and do it?
Yeah. That was me, actually. I had a friend as a business owner say, you're always out networking, why don't you get in politics? And I was like, heck no, politics is gross. When you watch national politics, it's not fun.
Right.
It is not, it's dirty, it's ugly, it's mean. It's not that way locally. And locally is where you have the biggest impact. And so what I would say to those is get involved in your community, whether it's an HOA board, whether it's appointed to a board from a board of county commissioners or a school board committee. Get involved and find out really what's impactful to you and follow that pathway. Reach out to an elected official because a lot of us would love to mentor young individuals to get in our careers.
Yeah, I mean, you are so accessible, it feels
Yeah.
like, you know? All right, so I got to ask the question, and we've all been there around election time and all the signs there. You know when it's a polling location because of all of the signs. How often do they really get stolen?
Every election.
Is that right?
Every election.
Wow.
I had signs probably every polling location or even out of people's yards. You'll see your sign missing and a different sign up. It unfortunately happens.
So it's dirty national politics, but a little bit local as well.
A little bit local.
There was some big issue about where you can put the signs, I think, this election cycle. What was that about?
Yeah, the legislation changed last year so that you couldn't campaign within 100 feet. You used to not be able to campaign within 100 feet of a polling location. Now it's 150 feet. So the challenges with that, some locations don't have places where 150 feet out you can stand and wave signs and in a safe manner or put signs. And so a lot of challenges, and there's a lot of churches that we have polling locations and they just don't want signs up.
Well, you keep up the great work. You're doing a
Thank
great job
you.
over there. Look forward to talking to you over the next many more years, I would think.
Yes, thank you.
And if you don't know if you're registered, you don't know what party you're affiliated with, it's super easy. It's 2025 now. All you have to do is go to the Supervisor of Elections website and you'll find out right there. Amy Pennock, great job. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Here's what we'll do, a very quick break. You need a new roof. You know you need a new roof, but you don't want to put a huge down payment down in hopes that they show back up. What do you do in that situation as You Have Real Estate continues? You own a house, you need to have your windows and sliding glass doors checked right away. I'll tell you why. Joined by my good friend Dan Bringman, Renewal by Anderson. How do I know, Dan, when it's time to have my windows and sliding glass doors checked?
Well, it's a great question because it's not always obvious. One of the ways that sticks out immediately is that energy bill. We have to make, we've seen it go up all year long. Got a couple cool days now. A couple other ways are they're not functioning properly. You have some dust on the seals and also just water infiltration, or maybe you heard a lot of rattling during some wind and so forth.
Absolutely. QR code is on the screen for you right now. What does it cost to have you and your design team come out and see what's going on with my windows?
Absolutely nothing but your time.
That's a beautiful thing, and they're going to come check it out, tell you exactly what you need or don't need sometimes. But a lot of people say, well, Dan, I'm worried about the economy. I don't want to write a big check right now. You've done amazing things to make this almost free sometimes when you compare it to your electric bill.
Absolutely, and it's a great thing to be concerned about, but we take the worry away. What we've done is we've extended our finance plans, and we call them our easy pay plans, and they go up to 144 months, and we go as low as 5.97. I mean, that's like really low. Most terms out there go as high as 12, 14%.
And if you think about what you're paying every month versus how you're going to save money on your electricity bill, this is almost free for you and a no-brainer. Dan, always good to see you, buddy. Do yourself a favor right now. Hit the QR code on the screen and call Renewal by Anderson today. Welcome back to the show. When I'm not doing this show here with you, I'm a lawyer. I have a law firm, and one of the calls we get often, and it's very sad, is, well, Justin, I hired a contractor, made a big down payment, haven't heard from them again. See a lot with pool companies, general contractors, roofing companies. The problem, I think, is we live in Florida, right? And we have a lot of, if it's roofing, we have storm chasers that come through. And just a lot of people want to move here. They've been contractors in other parts of the country, move here, and they're not really doing the best job. So you have to be careful. And we've been looking for a solution when it comes to roofing. And number one, anytime you hire a roofing company or any company, you need to make sure that they've been around and that they're a solid company, obviously. But also, this new company that we've been talking to lately literally is not making you make a huge down payment. I've gotten to know the owner, Darin, Blue Star Roofing, over the last couple weeks. Welcome to the show, brother. How are you?
Good. How are you?
You brought Dan with you as well, double D today.
Yes, sir.
Darin and Dan. But it is a problem, okay? Because you think when the hurricanes roll through Florida, these storm chasers come from Alaska, Montana, places far, far away, and take people's money and sometimes do a horrible job. You've got to be very careful. Your down payment method's totally different than I've seen.
Yeah, we ask, once we set up, if we go into contract, we require a minimum deposit. It's administrative permitting, $500.
Right.
And then you pay when we're complete.
Yeah. What should I be looking for, Dan? You've been in the business a long time as well. When I'm looking for a roofer, obviously Blue Star is great, but what should I be looking for?
Well, you want to look for that longevity. Be careful of somebody that asks for a big down payment. A lot of roofers are from the old school, and they get themselves in trouble by getting in debt to a lot of suppliers so they can no longer buy their materials on credit. That's why they ask for the big down payment, because they have to have the money to go get the materials, and there's a reason that they got in that trouble. So
yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's a Ponzi scheme at times. Is how some of these contractors run their businesses. They got to get more money from the new guy to pay for the old guy, right. And it can be scary because at some point someone's going to be caught holding the bag, so to speak. I think family is so important when it comes to hiring a contractor. I think the family of that business is super important. When I was talking to you, Darin, the other day, we didn't really talk roofing much at all. We talked about your daughter, who's here in the studio. We talked about your wife, who's here in the studio as well. This is a real family business. Family is so important to you, but you bring that family kind of into the business as well.
Yeah, and it was, I guess it's pleasing to have, whenever they say your kids take on what you're doing, so she came in. It's always been family owned, family operated, and it's just expanded.
Yeah. How do I know all right, so I own a house. The roof is obviously an incredibly important part of the house, maybe the most important part of the house, because if the roof is bad, it's going to ruin the rest of the house. But how do I know, Dan, it's really time to start having someone like you come out to see if I need to have my roof replaced or repaired?
Well, generally in Florida, you get about half of what the shingle manufacturer will say you're going to get out of a shingle. So if they call it a 40-year shingle, you'll get about 20.
Is that right?
A 50-year shingle, you'll get about 25. But with the new insurance laws, a lot of insurance companies are requiring a roof replacements at 15 years old. If you're going to sell a house, most inspectors won't. They'll recommend to the buyer that they require a new roof if it's looking 10, 12, 15 years old. So once you start to get into that area of 12 to 15 years, it's time to start having someone take a look at it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I like what you've done, Darin. You really grew up in the commercial side, on the commercial side of roofing. Huge projects, condominium complexes, huge businesses. So you have a lot of buying power, I think, that maybe a smaller roofing shop does not have. I've seen a lot of roofers try to go from residential to commercial, and I think that transition's a little bit more difficult. You come from a big commercial side already, now doing a lot of residential. How is that transition going?
Good. We played with it, or I guess experimented the last year of doing residential. We've always done commercial projects. We'd pick up residential work from the building owners or employees of the company. So we've always dabbled, I want to say, in residential. And then we just made a commitment, said, here, let's open up a residential line. So
Yeah.
we've been doing it for a year, and it's starting to take off, and we're just going to open the whole separate residential. Same one company, but we're trying to bring, I guess, the expertise and stuff we've learned and come up in commercial roofing to the homeowner.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to go. I think it's better to go from commercial to residential than residential to commercial. Your buying power and just really experience it's different. Residential and commercial are different, Dan. We were talking about it before.
Yeah. The commercial roofing is very exacting. You make a small mistake, it can cost a lot of money on projects that big. Whereas in residential roofing, it's easy to get loosey-goosey, and I think that people who are in that field, it's hit or miss whether or not you get a good roofing company. So a roofing company with that focus on detail, like a commercial roofing company, getting into the residential market, they're going to bring that professionalism and that accuracy with them.
I agree. If you own a house and your roof is 15 years old, maybe it's time to have these guys come check it out, see what's going on. Maybe they say you're good for another 10 years, or maybe we need to do a little bit more investigation as to what is going on with your roof. 407-205-0400. But Darin, on the commercial side of things, right? What kind of jobs do you normally do? Who should we be reaching out to?
As far as client base?
Yeah, what kind of jobs do you normally do?
We do all phase. I mean, we've gone from the Orlando airport, Tampa airport. We do condos. We do small office buildings, shopping centers. So we have, I guess, a saying, there's no roofs too small, no jobs too big. It's just you got to have a proper plan.
What's it like working at the airport? Maybe there's a secret. I don't know. Maybe we can't talk about this, but it
No,
seems...
this is the
did you have to go through security every time or no?
There's
Jeez.
background checks and
Really?
security, and
terrible.
it's involved, but it's rewarding.
Got it. And you've seen both sides again, commercial and residential. What are some of the challenges that you see in residential you don't see in commercial and vice versa?
In commercial, like I said, it's very detail-oriented. You have to get everything exactly right. The schedules are longer, so it's easier to anticipate needs, get ready, get things taken care of. Whereas in residential, it's a much quicker pace, and then you have to deal with a whole lot more customers on a frequent basis. Each homeowner obviously is important as a customer, and they'll have their own needs, and you have to be able to focus in a more minute way on each individual one as a separate important customer.
Whether you own an airport or a house, you need to have your roof checked out. Darin, Dan, great to see you both. Come back and see us soon, okay? 407-205-0400. Very quick break. When we return, let's take a little road trip north. What are the housing prices looking like in Ocala right now as You Have Real Estate continues?
Are you worried about your student loan payments? I don't blame you. The great news for you is now we have more options than ever. Go to our website, YouHavePower.com, to find out what options may exist for you and your student loans.
Welcome back to the show. We end the show today with a little road trip up to Marion County, a county that is super underrated. If you haven't been there lately, a place that I really love. A lot of people moving there as well. Joined by Elisha Lopez, Ocala Realty World. Hello, Elisha. How are you?
Good.
I don't know. Something about that part of, I don't know if it's even northern Florida or north central Florida, but Marion County, the whole surrounding area, it's a different part of Florida. You grew up in Miami, right? I grew up in Tennessee. It feels more like Tennessee than Miami to me. How did you make that decision to move up to Marion County?
By accident.
Yeah.
Best accident ever, though. And I think it happens to a lot of people. They are traveling north or south, and they get off on I-75, Highway 200. Usually they go eat at the Cracker Barrel.
Yes.
And like, wow, this place is just beautiful. And that's exactly what happened
If
to
you could
us.
only choose one, Cracker Barrel, Waffle House, or IHOP, what do you choose?
I still, definitely the Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel. See, I think I'd be a Waffle House guy now at this point, but Cracker Barrel's fun too. You got the little rocking
shop.
chairs and whatnot.
Yeah.
So people, though, don't understand, and I think there are a lot of people that live close by to the studio or anywhere in Orlando, the Orlando area, and we feel priced out of this real estate market because it has skyrocketed over the last 2 and 3 years. And interest rates have gone up as well. And people feel like they need to continue to rent an apartment for their family because they can't afford to buy a house here. Ocala is not that far, but the entry point to buy a house there is totally different. What does it cost to actually buy a nice home in Ocala?
Your 3-2 two-car garage on a 1/4 acre, so no reach out and touch someone. You actually have some land. You're under 300,000. I mean, a lot of areas you're looking at 285, 295.
Yeah.
You can get 195 if you go out to Denellen, the neighboring city. Yeah.
195.
Yeah, just a 1-car garage.
You
no
think
two.
about what people pay for a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment here in Orlando, and then you start looking at the price of a mortgage on a house that's 200,000 or 300,000. It's going to be cheaper, I think.
Oh, absolutely, and it's yours. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to move. I mean, you move if you want to, but we get that all the time. You know, you sign a lease, you blink, and it's time to renew.
Yeah.
And or they're like, "Oh, sorry, you know, we're raising the rent, we're kicking you out, we're selling, whatever we're doing." And I mean, there's no like peace of mind to just get settled into your own place.
And I love what Elisha has done for you, really, and for everyone in Central Florida, our entire audience, really. She has it set up to where as listings come on the market anywhere in that part of Florida, she'll send them to you immediately. All you have to do is get out your phone, QR code on the screen for Ocala Realty World, and as these new listings come on the market, she will send them to you directly. Oftentimes she has some listings that aren't even on the market yet that she can share with you as well. We talk about people being able to buy a house for their family in Marion County, Levy County, that whole area, but for investors as well, because people who have wanted to get into real estate investing over the last couple of years have been unable because they can't afford to buy that first home here, their first investment home. Same thing up in Ocala.
Yeah, actually, and like you said, like in order to get a property ready to put it on the market, there's a lot of work that happens prior to you seeing it go active. And so in that time frame is really the best time to get the deal. Like I have a townhouse that's about to hit the market for $187,000. It's a 2-2, 1,500 square feet under air, and there's no HOA.
Ah,
Yeah,
beautiful.
so that's like, yeah, it needs a little loving, but I mean, that's the investor's dream to have a rental property.
And a lot of investors also are leveraging too. They're not just paying cash, and so there's a certain down payment you have to make, obviously, when you buy an investment property. What is normal for a down payment for an investment property? Any idea?
20%, as long as, of course, you've got good credit. If you have to go into some type of creative financing, I see, actually recently we're seeing a lot of 30% down. But I mean, you could put 30 here, 30 here, 30 here, and get 3 properties instead of just all cash on one.
That's what I was thinking too. So someone who's like, hey, you know what, that's boring. I don't want to buy just one property in Orlando. You can maybe buy 2 or 3 with the same down payment, and now you have 3 investment properties just like that in Ocala. What do you think about property management though? So let's say I'm looking at becoming a real estate investor. Do you think I should handle going to collect rent on the first every month, and if the AC goes out, or should I have a property manager do that for me?
Definitely have a property manager.
Really?
What I see is the D type personality, they're usually the ones that are like, nope, I'm going to do it all myself. But everybody else is like, here you go. I mean, 10% of the monthly rent is a small price to pay for not having to deal with those headaches.
What does the D type personality mean?
My way or the highway.
Oh, really? I thought that was type A, like the tall girl.
Well, yeah. No.
Sorry, I'm in trouble
Strong,
now.
yes, but like, I got to do it all myself.
Yeah. What are you? What type are you? I don't know. You're so sweet. You don't seem like a type A, but you also are a boss girl as well.
Well, actually, I'm an IS is my
I don't know all these
normal
letters.
trait, but my D is secondary. That's the other part.
What am I?
Same I.
Excuse me? Oh,
Yeah.
don't listen to her.
You took the test, you didn't even know it.
What do you think I am? No, really. Don't listen
Well,
to
like
her.
the I and the D
I'm
together.
an ID?
Yeah.
I don't know what that. I still don't know what that means.
I'll
Is that
teach you all
bad or
about it.
good?
It's a good thing.
That's a good?
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Ocala Realty World. Look, whether you're looking to buy a house for your family or invest in real estate, look no further than Marion County, Ocala. It's beautiful, but also so much more affordable. QR code on the screen right now for Elisha Lopez. Ocala Realty World. Killed it, as always. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you to our amazing team here in the studio in Central Florida. But most importantly, thank you. See you again next week for more You Have Real Estate.
The proceeding was a paid advertisement. The views expressed were the sole responsibility of the advertiser.